It's the Brad and John Show.
It is the Brad and John Show. Today's date is the 3rd of November. This is the B Block, the Bravo Block, and I must say I will not be here. I'm going on vacation tomorrow and Wednesday, and for those of you who are interested, all my guns are in the back bedroom to the left down the hall. I will leave the keys and the ignition of all my vehicles, and the money that I have is underneath the filing cabinet in my front bedroom. So I just want everybody to know.
You know how I know that's not true, Brad?
Why is that?
Because you just said you have money.
John, can I tell you something which is problematic for me?
Yeah, please do. Problematic was a great trendy word 7 years ago. Go ahead, Brad.
I'm going to tell you something you're not going to believe, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I have an envelope which I use for emergency cash here at the radio station in case something happens or I need to come up with like cash or something like that. I have an envelope with $500 in it, 5 $100 bills. I've lost that envelope. I can't find it. Is that nuts or what? It's here in this.
Wow, Brad. Now, this is the story that your 4 children tell on day one at the Memory Care Center. And when they sit down and they say, so tell us a little bit about your dad. And, Brad, you're sitting in the corner like with a little bit of drool running down your mouth saying, remember that time that I used to get advertising in the 1970s? And they're like, well, it all started one day when Dad said that he had $500 and he didn't know where he put it. And that's when we knew.
Well, it's the damnedest thing because it was sitting, in the studio. I mean, literally where I'm sitting right now, I could have reached around and picked up the envelope, and it's not there anymore. I'm going like, okay.
Brad, the FCC has told you about telling reach-around stories.
That is an honest-to-God true story. Okay, so you people listening, tomorrow and Wednesday I'll be out of town, and like I said, and do me a favor. I hate like hell when I have to fix the door frame when they kick in the door frame. The front door is just open, so don't kick in the door frame. Just essentially just open the door and take what you want, and I'll be happy. Okay, you ready for this, John?
It's time for Brad's Top 3.
It is.
It's time for Brad's Top 3.
And because it's in their contract, the ladies have to sing it not once, but twice. Ladies?
It's time for Brad's Top.
And we start off with...
It's number 3.
Do you remember the lady's name is... I got to find it here. Is it pop up?
Oh, she was great. I loved her. She was in Bewitched.
Not her. Okay, this is from KY3, which is the TV station down at the lake, okay?
Is it?
Yes.
No, it's Springfield. It's not in the lake. Go ahead.
Well, it's the lake area. But it comes out of Wichita, Kansas. Angie Mock. Do you remember Angie Mock?
Oh, is this the murder chick?
Yes, she worked at Channel 2 as a morning
so
anchor.
I didn't care enough to click on the story, but I saw a photo that didn't look like a woman that you would expect to see on television, and I thought maybe I made a mistake. Did this woman gain a lot of weight and kill people?
She worked at Channel 2. She was the morning news anchor from 2011 to 2015. She was arrested on Friday from the murder of her mother in Wichita, Kansas. I mean, how bizarre is this? And they say...
Yeah, so what else does it say about it, Brad?
Well, they said when they showed up, they found Mock outside the house. She was sitting on the front porch, and her mother, Anita Avers, was in her bed with multiple stab wounds. And they took her mother to the hospital, but she was deceased. So,
wow.
Angie Mock, and she's, 47? Yeah, I think 47 or something like that. God, is that so bizarre? You know?
Yeah. So was she a St. Louis person, or was she just here working for a few years and then moved on?
Yeah, apparently she was just here for like 4 years. Now, the interesting thing is Channel 2's got all sorts of crazy, weird stories over there. You know, the one with what's his face, Martin Kilcoyne. You know what I mean? Or was it Martin Kilcoyne? Who was the one that's made the slip on Reverend Martin Luther King? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, that was Kevin Steincroft.
Kevin Steincroft, okay. And then they've got other crazy stuff that's happened over there. You know what? That's what happens when you leave the city. I mean, that's what Kara Spencer should say. When we knew that Channel 2 was going to have problems when they moved out of the city and moved to Maryland Heights, that's just not the place to be. Maryland Heights is not the place to be. You need to be down in the city where you get your car broken into and you get carjacked and you get stuff stolen out of your house. That's where you need to be.
And Lord knows KSDK doesn't have any problems.
Yes. They're moving to another part of the city. That's the whole bottom. Okay, you ready for number 2?
Yeah, let's do it.
It's time for Brad's number 2.
Okay, this is interesting. This is a story about some big, high-profile universities, okay? And one of them happens to be where you went to college at, John.
Oh, Florissant Valley Community College? I'm not knocking Flo Valley. One of them's a WashU story?
Yes. The chancellor of Syracuse University, the chancellor of Washington University, Kent Syverud, Syverud. How do you say that? Syverud? Syverud?
We go back to Brad's story about Esperds. I think that's what it is.
Esperd?
No, I'm joking, Brad. I don't know how to pronounce it. Go ahead.
Okay. There's three of these big dudes who are from high up universities, Syracuse, WashU, and Vanderbilt, okay? And they came out and said, quote, and this is a quote from the Washington University chancellor, quote, when things happened that I really believe were encouraged from Iran, the protest did not have the involvement of very many, if any, of our own students. Can you imagine that, John?
Wow, no way.
That's just what he said.
But hold on. I mean, I was being sarcastic because I think when you see an anti-Boeing protest on the WashU campus, they're not WashU students. They're people from the quote-unquote community who come on in and protest.
Right.
So I'm not surprised by it. But I agree with you. It's surprising that someone in an official capacity would acknowledge that.
Well, he's not done talking yet. Let me give you another quote. Syracuse top official also discussed the difficulty of holding individuals, including students, accountable because of the use of face masks or coverings intentionally used to shield identity. And this is another quote from the WashU chancellor. Quote, people were using masks to avoid accountability for what they were saying and doing. They go on to talk about the fact that Chancellor Daniel Diermeyer of Vanderbilt in Nashville also pointed out clear coordination and, quote, the playbook for protests were backed by, quote, organized networks that could have been motivated or directed students and agitators to demonstrate and disrupt campus. John, is this unbelievable or what?
Yeah. I mean, so we shouldn't be surprised, again, my outside agitators, but the fact that a university is talking about it, I think it's pretty surprising. And let's not forget, we're coming up. I was just looking back at the things that we talked about a year ago. And a year ago, we talked about Megan Green officially being replaced by WashU and then being replaced by a gentleman named Winston Calvert. But Megan Green was at the center of one of these controversies. She happened to be an actual member of the faculty. But so many of these folks aren't, Brad.
Right. And now also Washington University Chancellor Andrew D. Martin, I could pronounce his name, he was also on this panel. His quote was, many of the things that happened on our campus, including an attempted encampment, we didn't allow it to take place and ultimately had folks arrested to shut it down on Saturday evening. 3/4 of those individuals had nothing to do with Washington University.
When does this piece, I'm sure earlier, it gives a date of when these things happen. When did this happen?
Last week. This was,
but I'm talking about the protest.
When did the protests happen?
Yeah.
Well, when was the WashU protest? That was last year.
I'm asking you, Brad. Does the story say when they say we shut it down? They're talking about an incident. So I'm asking you look in the article and see when the incident happened. It
doesn't say when the incident happened, but I assume it's the one where Megan Green got arrested. Wasn't that the deal?
Okay, yeah, it could be. I'm guessing. I don't know. I haven't read this article that you're presenting for the first time now.
Well, I find it interesting that these chancellors of Vanderbilt, WashU was the other one I said. No, I can't.
Syracuse?
Syracuse. Okay. These are some high-profile schools. And doesn't this run against the narrative that all the colleges are like super-duper woke and the administration's like, oh, we need DEI people. We need more DEI people.
Well, I don't know. I think that if you're a campus too, and if you're WashU, for example, I think WashU did a pretty good job of not allowing, you have to allow free speech. But let's not forget, the source of the whole Megan Green conflict was WashU bringing in private people and then police officers from other jurisdictions to come in and say, this is not public property. You are not at Harris Stowe. You are not at some public college. You were at Washington University. This is private property. Get out of here. You don't have a right to protest here.
Right. And a lot of people don't understand that the difference between, like you just pointed out, that if you're on public property, that's how they get rid of these habitual shoplifters. If you've ever seen these videos on YouTube, that's how they get rid of these habitual shoplifters at like Walmart. that, first off, Walmart has a very sophisticated camera system which has facial ID. They will deny it, but they do. And when these people are already, trespassed once, told to leave, then the police come and escort them off the property because Walmart is private property. You can't just show up at Wally World and protest or steal stuff or stuff like that because it's private property. It's like them showing up in your living room and you're saying, hey, you're in my house, get the hell out. And if they don't leave, you call the police, and they were physically removed from your house. Same kind of situation. But
it's like people showing up at Brad's office looking for a $500 envelope, right? They don't have a right to be there. It's private property.
You know what? I won't be here at the radio station on Tuesday and Wednesday. So if you break into the radio station, once again, I'll leave the doors open. If you find my envelope with $500 in cash, do me a favor. Just take $200 of it and leave me the other $300. That'll be your commission for finding the envelope. Okay? How's that, John? Did I do okay with that?
That sounds pretty good, Brad.
Okay. Number one.
And now, big finish, Brad's number.
I don't ever want to be the guy who is saying like, oh, this is conspiracy theory. I saw this thing over the weekend that talked about the Democratic Socialists of America is essentially a front for pure socialism, and they had all these videos. I don't know where they got these from. Most of these were like Skype videos or Teams videos or Zoom videos of these people. And I guess they were screen captured by people who were not necessarily, 100% in bed with these people. And they're all coming out and saying, yes, the Democratic Socialists of America movement, including Mondami and Bernie Sanders, is just a front for pure socialism. And once we get into power, we're going to essentially go pure socialism. Pure socialism. John, your reaction to that?
I think that, I'm here, Brad. I mean, I think that, we shouldn't be surprised by that because you couldn't get elected in the United States by saying you're a socialist. But the Democratic Socialists of St. Louis can endorse and actively promote Cori Bush, and most folks don't bat an eye at.
Well, I will take issue with you because of the fact that tomorrow we'll probably have a mayor of New York City who actively came out and openly said he's a socialist. So it wasn't the fact that he was hiding everything. Although, what's really weird about that? I was doing some research on this, and they say already today, they have an unbelievable number of early voters in New York City. They say they have never, ever seen this as far as the early voters. And the question is, are they early voters to vote for Zoran Mondami? Are they early voters to vote for good old Mr. Como?
Curtis Sliwa.
Yeah, no, not Curtis Sliwa. Do you know... I'm not trying to say I'm a big guy, but I looked it up the other day. I still have Curtis Sliwa's cell phone number. I used to talk to him all the time. Did I ever tell you this story?
I know. It's a great story, Brad.
Yeah. Well, the sad part of it is that I think it's going to happen. There's no way it's not going to happen. He's going to be elected mayor. And
right. We know that, right?
What was interesting about it was this piece went on to give the playbook, and the playbook was that, remember, we even talked about this last week. The playbook was that you get your extremist candidates on the ballot in the primaries when nobody shows up. And remember, in the New York primary, which had Como, and everybody thought Como was going to win, and he got trounced by Mondami. In the primary, there were only 400,000 voters. Now, keep in mind, this is New York City. What's the population of New York City? Like 12 million or something like that?
A bazillion,
yes.
Yeah.
So they had 400,000 voters, and they said, this is the playbook. And these people were bragging about this. Well, what we do is we get our extremist candidates on the ballot when they didn't say extremists, but they said we get our socialist candidates on the ballot during a primary when nobody really cares and everybody thinks they already know the outcome of the primary, which was the case with Como because everybody thought, Como's a shoo-in. Remember, that was the big...
he had name ID and everything.
Right. And who's this weirdo, this Mondami guy or stuff like that? And, one of those things. So it's going to be interesting because I've already told my son I will help him move to New York City because, he's a Bernie boy. But, if Mondami has this, I told my son, Drew, I said, Drew, free housing, free groceries, free transportation. New York City is a wonderful place. I mean, you won't even you can quit your job and move to New York City and not have to make any money and you're going to be taken care of. And my son sort of says to me, come on, Dad. I go, come on, that's what he's saying. Don't you believe him? Even my socialist son is like, no, I don't believe him. Okay, but
he can't. He wouldn't have a driver to take him to medical appointments anymore if he moved to New York. And if you talk about low voter turnout, it would seem like you're even suggesting, Brad, that maybe teachers' unions like school board elections to be held in April when the turnout is low.
well, they're trying to change that as well too. Mark Cox.
Who's they?
Mark Cox. He's working on that real hard.
Yes, Nick Schroer. You're right. You're right. Nick Schroer has been a big advocate of it, Brad.
Ricky Schroeder's working on that?
Yeah, you don't say.
Ricky Schroeder should work on that left lane deal. Matter of fact, I don't know if you heard this or not, since they're putting in, 3 lanes each direction between St. Louis and Kansas City, they went ahead. I don't know if you know this or not. The 3 lanes are already in all the way from Wentzville all the way to the Highway 54 exit right there at Kingdom City. And you know how they have some, if you go into other cities, they have like what they call the diamond lane, which is the high occupancy vehicle lane. You know what I'm saying? You're only supposed to go in that left lane if you got like 2 or more people in the car. Already,
yeah, I know that.
There's a stretch of I-70 out near Montgomery City that has right on the new left lane, it says Adam Schnelting lane only. That's what it says.
Oh, Brad, come on.
I'm saying it, John. You want me to send you the picture?
Oh, yeah, I'd love to.
We'll send you the picture. Okay. You don't believe anything I say, do you? Why is that, John?
Hey, you know what? You don't want to rush story number 1, Brad. Why don't you get into it?
That was number 1.
Oh, that was number 1.
Yes.
I had the Brad Hildebrand thing of like, next thing you know, I'm going to misplace an envelope of cash around here.
Maybe it's at your house. Maybe that's what
Hey, do you think Curtis Sliwa would jump on the air with you this week?
You know what? I don't know. You want me to try and call and see if I can get him on the phone?
No. And then I'm sure the number doesn't work anymore. What about D. Wamsley? He could tell some old-timey tales about getting in his gang fights in North St. Louis County.
Del Wamsley, I have his home phone number. I literally have his home phone number now. He gave it to me. I'm
Boy,
telling you.
what a mistake he made.
We're going to take a break.